A home is a safe place. It gives me a sense of peace. It gives me a sense of relaxation. It gives me a sense of joy, knowing that I'm amongst my loved ones. And it is a place of comfort. So my dad immigrated to Canada in 1972, and my mom joined him with my eldest sister in 75. They were living with family, and eventually they saved up enough to move out on their own in a rental condo apartment back then. And when I came around in 1979, they saved enough money to buy their first home. The first home that they purchased was in Arundel, Mississauga, 5-level back split that probably cost them somewhere around $75,000. I'm assuming things were a lot easier back then than they are now to be able to save up to purchase a home because I think the gap between income and home prices was a lot less. But I think the aspirations are still there. You know, people usually want to purchase a home because they still have the same hopes and dreams of maybe starting a family, getting married. Those things I think will always remain the same. Your first home, I think, will always carry fond memories because it's your first experience of being in a home. My parents laugh and tell me the story to this day that when I finally had my own room, I said, I don't want to live here. I want to go back to the apartment because getting used to that extra space was just such a big change. But having said that, it's about the memories, the fond memories of being there as a child, having that extra space that obviously eventually became a plus point for me because I had more space to run around and you know, be an imaginative kid. But those fond memories always stay with you. I was never a 9-to-5 employee. I didn't do well following instructions and being restricted in terms of what I did on a daily basis. So I think I was always meant to be an entrepreneur. I think I always had that entrepreneurial spirit since I was young. And once I joined, I loved being my own boss, having my own business, setting up my own schedule, and having my own clientele. I have a background in film and video, and originally I joined real estate because my thought process was, I'll get into real estate so I can have more time to pursue my passion. And here I am, 20 years later, after doing real estate full time. Never had, maybe the desire wasn't strong enough for me to do anything else. So obviously I enjoyed it enough to stick to it. I think if I was to go back, one of the mistakes that I would probably correct is maybe nurturing that relationship a little bit more. Something that I do obviously a lot more now when I sell a property to a client or I'm building a relationship, building a rapport with them. After the sale happens, maybe more contact with them. In the beginning, you know, you tend to be a little bit more transactional because maybe you're just so focused on the sale itself. So I think that comes with maturity, and that comes with wisdom and life experience. You start appreciating the value of a client. The best thing about being a realtor is the clients, the relationships that I've built over the last 2 decades. Some of these clients are like family, and it's just amazing to be a part of their lives. First property that I sold was in Mississauga, 1368 Godwick Crescent. So I planned to door knock this area, Meadowville Village, which back then in 2004, 2005 was probably still a fairly new neighborhood. I did a couple of streets, maybe on a weekday afternoon, and I happened to come across a home that had a for sale by owner sign. Back then you'd have a lot of private sales. Knocked on their door, and just basically told them that I'm a realtor who would be happy to help them. They shut the door in my face a couple of times, but I was persistent. I kept in contact with them, and I think probably after 2 or 3 weeks, they called me and said, "Look, we were approached by a lot of realtors, but we just felt as though you are the right fit for us, and we got a good vibe from you," and they listed their home with me. Of course, I was freaking out because I didn't even know what to do. You know what, good for me, it sold within like a couple of days. The market was hot back then, and luckily the other realtor, the buyer agent, basically helped me do all the paperwork to get everything done, the waivers and signing everything and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it went pretty smooth, I would say, especially for a first transaction. So here we are. This is where I grew up, where my parents bought their first property here in Mississauga in the Arundel area. Down the street is where I started school, started kindergarten, right down this road here. On this street is where I learned how to ride my first bike. This is where my parents celebrated our birthdays, and where we had family parties. And across the street for Canada Day, one of our neighbors every year would light fireworks, so we'd watch them right here from this sidewalk. So a lot of memories. It's amazing to be back here. Looking at these homes now, I mean, of course, they seem a lot smaller than they were when I was a kid. And these trees obviously weren't as tall as they are now. When I come back, it's just reminiscing about these memories that I've shared with you today. That's what, of course, is the essence of all of this, is not the physical structure, but the memories that are ingrained in my mind and in my heart that will be there for a very long time. Now that I have a family, the whole concept of a home definitely holds a lot more meaning. A home is a safe place, a place where we know that our hopes and dreams are able to come to fruition, a place where we can grow spiritually, mentally, physically, and it is a place of comfort. It's those memories that we're creating. You know, I just think about, okay, looking back 10 years from now, when, my sons took their first step, or, started running around the house, when they play with their cars and, bounce a ball, or whatever. It's some amazing memories that are going to stay with us for the rest of our lives. So I think it definitely just gives the concept of a home more depth and more meaning when you have a family. To find the right home for a client, of course I do my part in terms of shortlisting the best potential properties for them, but it's not until they actually walk through that front door themselves and see themselves living in that home. It's just the subtle emotions, the subtle smiles that maybe family members will give each other, the excitement that you can kind of see in their eyes that, hey, you know what? They're envisioning themselves in this property. That's just the magic of real estate, and just being a part of that process. It's as if, time almost stops and you're just there with them at that magical moment when they, in their hearts, have made the decision that, you know what, this could be the home. And there's no greater feeling than when a client turns to me and they maybe don't even have to say anything. I could just see with the expression on their face or the sparkle in their eye that maybe we've we found the perfect home.